Hi doing everyone, welcome to SQL Server Integration Services with a quick and easy tech. So today I have part 11, how to load files from specific folder path that's already saved in SQL Server table. So let's say I have multiple folders here, and each folder have single files, multiple files. So I got 5 files and have multiple folders inside. I do not want to load all of them. I just want to load only specific folders. I want to load customer Asia, customer Europe, and customer USA. I don't want no customers UK or Germany. And the file path, which is like for the Asia, supposed to be already saved in SQL Server table. So I already have a table for the customer for the data. Select all DBO. I have customers here. So I have tables. I want to load the data inside the tables, the rows, and then just close this down. And then I'm supposed to have a separate table that saved the file path. Let's say I'm going to create a table here. Table. I'm going to call it a file path. File path, and then I'm going to set. I'm going to have the file path. This file path. I'm going to have file path. Let's say. And then for the data type, I'm going to have a string varchar, going to have a 200, and that's it. So I'm going to create this table, and then let's just get the table, select the table, so I have the file path is empty. Let's say I want to insert 3 file paths, one for the Asia, one for Europe, and one for the USA. So I'm going to do insert into DBO, the file path here, and then I'm going to have the file is going to be the file I want to set inside the file paths, and then the values will be single quote, and then paste the file path. Let's say I want to have only Asia, single quote, and then close parentheses, and the same thing I want to have 2 more paths. The second one will be for Europe. And the third one will be for USA. So I'm going to copy and paste the USA. So let's just insert those paths. Insert it, let's select all of them. So here, as you see guys, I have 3 different paths. I don't want to load all of them. Specific path that already saved in SQL Server table. I want to get the data. I want to get the file path from the SQL Server table already saved here. How can I do that? So first, go back to Visual Studio. We're going to create a new package. And then we're just gonna drag and drop execute SQL task. Why? First of all, why we want to execute SQL task? Look, since we have multiple folders and we have multiple tables, files, so we have to get the for each loop, because we don't know how long we are looping. We're just gonna loop through all the files, so we're not gonna get the for loop container because we don't know how many times we want to loop for each loop. And why we're gonna get the for each loop? Double click. For the collection, we're gonna set the expression directory to the file path. The file path, we're gonna get the file path from where? From the SQL server. How we're gonna get the how we're gonna get the file path from here? We're gonna get it from, we're gonna get the file path from the execute SQL task. Execute SQL task will give us a variable of the file path, and also we're gonna get the name, the file name or extension, and we're not gonna load everything. We're just gonna load the txt file. So that's how we need the execute SQL task. Double click on it, and then you're gonna get set the connection. Let's say I have a connection just deleted. I'm gonna show you how to create a new one. You need to get the server name. Just go back to Visual Studio to SQL Server. Click on connect, and then database engine. Just copy it. Okay, or you can just select it. Select a server name and copy it from the results. So let's just copy it here, and then I have a multiple. We have to select the proper database. Go back to Visual Studio to SQL Server. I have SSIS test database. Back here, we're gonna select the SSIS test database. Text connection succeeded. Click OK, and then OK again. And then we need to get the SQL statement. We're not interested in a file connection or variables, direct input. So now, well, how we gonna get the insert statement here, the select statement? So what we have to do here, we need to select, since we create, okay, let's select the file path here. We need to select the file path. So get rid of the asterisk, and they're gonna get the file path. The name of the column. Select the file path. Sorry, so file paths. Correct syntax here. Okay, so I have the file path, and I want to select all these columns. I got 3 rows in one column. File paths. Copy the select statement, and then back to Visual Studio, and then paste it. Click OK. Now we are now for the result set, we're not interested in a single row because we have multiple rows here. The SQL statement will return multiple rows, not single row. We got 3 rows here, so we are interested in full result set. Click on the full result set, and then for the result set, you got nothing to do with the parameter mapping. The parameter mapping when you have a question mark. We don't have a question mark. We're not mapping to nothing. We're gonna save the full file path, the full result set inside the result set here. Click add, and then I don't know why they call it result set. This is supposed to be a 0, not name. If you have a multiple result sets here, you're just gonna have a name. The first one will be name 0, and the second one will be 1, the third one will be 2, and so on. So so the first result set will be 0, and then the variable name, we don't have a variable names yet. So we're gonna create a new variable. We're gonna call it a file path object. Why object? We're gonna select the value type will be object, because we have a different we have multiple rows. We have multiple rows, and some of them, so that's why we need to have an object, multiple rows. So, and then because we don't know, sometimes if you want to select like a multiple columns, you have ID here, addresses, or something like that, you want to save everything in variables. Variable containing most of the data type. Click OK, and then click OK. So now we're just gonna connect the execute SQL Tasks. You're gonna rename it. Get file paths from object. Okay, so now we're going to connect the execute SQL task to their for each loop container. So now, you guys, if you double click on for each loop container, look, if we want to loop through all the three files, three folders, and have multiple files. So in normal for each loop, we need to have the file path. We're gonna set directly to into the file path, and then we're gonna get the file name or extension. So we need the file path plus, let's say, a file name, the name of the file. We have the file path already, but the file path saved in variable, not string. The file path here saved in variable, not in object, not string. So we have to do, we're gonna double click on for each loop, click on collection, and for the enumerator, we're gonna change the for each file enumerator. We're gonna get the for each audio enumerator. We need to get the variable, that's the user file variable that comes from executes SQL task. Now, what's gonna happen? We're gonna save it. We're gonna save this. So you're just gonna click OK. So guys, click on variables because we need to save this object again to variable. Click on variable mappings, and then we're gonna save this file path variable. We're gonna map it to the variable to the string this time. So we're gonna call this a file path variable, and then the value type will be string, and then just click OK. So what happened here? We got the file path object from the execute SQL task, and then we saved it in we pull it from using for each audio enumerator, and then we saved it inside the variable. Index will be 0, so that's the variable which is string. If you go back again and get the variable, so that's the first object variable, the second one will be string. So now what we have to do, we have to get another for each loop container. Why? Because as I said in the beginning, in order to configure the for each loop container, you need to have a variable file path, and you need to have the file name. You have the file name or the full qualified. You're gonna save it again. But why again? Because because we're gonna get the data flow task, and then after we are configuring the data flow task, we're gonna set a new connection. We're gonna get the source, the flat file source, and the flat file source. We have to configure the connection, and we have to set the connection string is gonna be the the file full path will be a file path, which is a variable of string plus the file name. So that's why we are like doing nested loop. Let's remove this. Okay, so we have to drag and drop for each loop one more time. This is the second time. So just double click on it and then go on collection. Now we're not gonna change the for each loop enumerator. We're just gonna leave it again second time. For the expression, click on expression, and then we're gonna choose the directory. We're gonna point the directory to the file path, the variable that we just created. Forget about the file path object. We're not using it anymore. So we're gonna get drag and drop file path variable. So the directory for each loop will point to the file path, to the folder, the file path that contain the folders. So click OK. We are interested here in files. We need only the txt. Just in case, let's say for example, let's just go back again. Let's say I have CSV files here, or I have Excel files. I don't want to get all the files. I just need to have the txt files only. What do you want to do? You want to get the full qualified or the name? Let's say we're going to get the name and extension. But with this scenario, we can use full qualified or name and extension. you want to use the name and extension or full qualified if you have different scenarios. You can watch the other videos. So now we want to save the name and extension. We are done with the file path. We set the file path variable to the directory. Now the file name and extension, because we chose the name and extension, we need to change the name and extension in some kind of variable. Click on variable, and again we're going to create a new variable. We're going to call it a file name. You can call it a file name and extension. The value type will be string. Click OK. Click OK. Now we have a nested for each loop. Nested for each loop. We're going to drag and drop data flow task because we want to pull the data now. The employee, we need to pull the data, all the files, all 3 files. So drag and drop data flow task, and then double click on data flow task, and inside the data flow pane, you're going to drag and drop. We have a flat files. We have a txt flat files. So drag and drop flat file source, and then we're going to configure it. Double click on it. We don't have a connection. Set a new connection. And then if you want to name it, I'm not going to name this. I'm going to leave it right now. You can browse the file name. You need to browse the file name. Just gonna the file path. I'm just gonna copy it. So browse. You can browse the file path. I already have it here. So you see that I just point so far any one of them. Just doesn't matter. You can go to even UK. You can click it in UK because we're gonna use for each loop. And then since we are getting the file paths from the SQL server, even if you choose like a UK, it's not going to do anything. So let's just go to Asia, click on the file, the first file, make sure the column names in the first data has in the first data row. Yes, we have a column name. That's the column names here in the first row. Back again. Columns, we have the data, advanced, preview. I'm not going to choose the data type from here. I'm going to use data conversion, preview it, everything good. Retain nulls from the source as a null value. Like if you have, for example, here, like if you don't have a US, this is empty, like space. So instead of having space, we can have a null value here in a SQL Server table. So back again here, and then columns, we have all the columns has been mapped. Click OK. Now what we're going to do, we are going to load the data to SQL Server. We are done with this section now. Let's go back to the table, customers table. I have ID, first name, last name, and state. I already create these tables. So so this is a SQL Server. We need to get the OLEDB destination. So the destination will be OLEDB destination. There we go. And then if you're going to click on it, we're going to have a confliction between the data type comes from the files, and because you got everything string here, and plus the SQL Server. The SQL Server have the customers. I already set the ID integer, first name varchar, which is non-Unicode, 100 length. Last name, the same thing, varchar string, non-Unicode, and state a character, another non-Unicode string too. So what we have to do here, just drag and drop data conversion here. Connect the source to the data conversion. Double click on data conversion. Then you want to convert all of them. We're going to change the data type to integer, and thus we should be okay here. If you go back, we have ID, it's integer here, and first name string, non-Unicode is okay. We just need to change we have 102 for the length. So back again here, we're going to change the ID to if you have a 2 byte sign, I'm just going to have a 4 byte sign integer. This is the integer, 4 byte sign integer. And for the string, this is non-Unicode. This is all good. We just need to change the length to 100. Another 100, and then for 2, because we're going to have a truncation. So now we are having, since we are converting the data, we have a new output names alias. We're not going to have the name comes from the ID from the rows anymore, because we are converting it. So we have a new output names copy of ID, first name, last name, and state. So we need to map the destination to the new table, to the new output alias. Double click on destination, and we already set the connection to test. You remember I set the connection from the Sql Tasks, the same this we are using the same destination here. Double click. We're not going to use a new, we're just going to use the same database. We're just gonna select the proper tables here. So the proper table is not going to be the file path. That's the file path. We need to. That's the data, the rows. So I have the data here saved inside. I have a table called customers. I have 4 columns. So back again, select the customers table, and then map it. So here, because you have the names here, remember I told you need to change the name of the column. That's the output alias. This is the original column names that come from the source. That's after that's the converted column names. Now copy of ID, copy first name, copy of last name, and copy the state. Click OK. Now we're all good to go now. But what's going to happen now? If you run the package, what's going to happen? You're going to just keep looping through one file. It's like the first file you're going to loop like 10 times. You're going to loop 10 times through only 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. We want to loop one time each file. One time this file, and then the second time this file and this file, and then for the USA and so on. So what we have to do here, go back again to Visual Studio, and then on the flat file connection, right click on flat file connection, and this click on properties, and then from the right window click on expression, and then see that the little dot, click on the little dot, and then for the property you're going to set the connection strength expression. We're going to build the expression. We need to have a full file path. Full file path, that means the file path plus the file name. So we already saved the file path. So the file path, this is the file path, the variable, and the file path variable, and then we have the file name. The file names comes from where? The file name comes from the for each loop. That's the for each loop container. So back again, right click on flat file connection, click on the expression, and then the properties, click on connection string, and then little dot expression. We're going to build some kind of expression. What's going to happen now? See that I don't have the file, so I have the file path variables. Forget about the object. We're not using the object anymore. Plus I need to see the file name. You know why I don't see the file name here? Because the file name, okay, you have a package level, and you have a package level. See that here? You have a solution level and you have a package level. So we save the file path. If you okay, for the variables, if you click in this section, we have object and variables. If you click on this for each loop, see that we have the file names here. So we're gonna move the file path from the for each loop level to the global, to the entire object, to the entire project. So what we have to do here, click on the file name. You have, see that it says move variable. We're gonna move it. We don't want it. We're gonna move it to the file, to the package. So any component inside the package can get the file name right here. So back again, right click on flat file connection manager, and then expression, properties, and set the connection string expression. We need to build the file, the full file path, the file path variables, and then plus double quote // double quote plus drag and drop the file name here. Click OK. Evaluate expression. See that we don't have a file path. We don't have, because this is going to be looping. Looping. You're okay. Don't worry about this. Just click OK. Click OK. Guys, you don't have to worry about the yellow triangle because the path is empty because you're not looping yet. You can get rid of it. For the file name, you can just have like any file names here. Any file names, let's say txt. See that? We're going to get rid of it. Let me show you. Double click. Okay, sorry, that's the file path, not the file name. So for the variable, let's say c. Let's say this thing here. See that? We got rid of it. So, but this is not gonna do anything. Just remove it because the file path will be overwritten over this thing. So it's not gonna help. It's not gonna do anything. So run the package now. Let's just go back to the table. Select the table. We're gonna make sure we don't have data here. Back again and execute the entire package. Look what's gonna happen. See that we have everything. We have all green lights. That's good news. So the package has been executed successfully. And then select the tables. Let's just get the order by. Let me show you order by ID. So sorry, not order by ID. We're gonna be order by state. So if you look here, I have 15 rows. I have AJ. 3 rows come from AJ, and I have this rows come from the Europe, and those rows comes from the US. I don't have any rows from Germany or any rows from the UK. I don't have nothing in the UK because the file path for these 3 folders already I pull it out from here. I saved it and then I use for each loop, and then I point the file path to the file path that's saved in SQL Server. See that? That's good news. For example, if you want to add, for example, in the future, if like let's say the database administrator, you want to load even from Germany, probably you're just gonna copy the path from here, and then he's gonna paste. He's gonna do insert statement, and then insert the file path inside this table, and then we can get the Germany also from here. So thank you very much, guys, and have a nice day.